Hi, I'm the Space Quest historian, here to bring you news about a game that's 30 years old. Yes, Space Quest 4 is indeed the gift that keeps on giving. You'd think after decades of data mining the shit out of it and going through all of its resources, we would have found everything it had to offer. But no! As it turns out, there's still some juice left in the old girl. Case in point, this Easter egg that was discovered by Chris Benschoof, who apparently wrote some kind of magical software that can go in and detect Easter eggs. I'm not sure how that works. The dude has a blog post about it that you can go and read, which also covers a number of other Easter eggs found in Space Quest 4. There's a link in the description. Anyway, this Easter egg has apparently gone unnoticed in the 30 years since the game came out. In the Software Access store in the Galaxy Galleria, if you click the taste icon on this little square in the top right hand of the screen, a mall pedestrian will come running out from the right, chased by a floating secret policeman. Now, you may recall in the past I showed you this Easter egg on the same screen where if you click the smell icon on this section of the screen, the narrator would say,
"Ah, yeah."
And if you then turned your back on the clerk, he would eventually flip you off. Now that Easter egg was found because not only did people wonder about the "ah, yeah" line, which Gary Owens voiced, but also about the extra sprite of the clerk flipping the bird. The Easter egg was even removed from the CD-ROM version, but the sprite of the clerk remained. But just to make sure some wise-ass programmer didn't try to sneak it back in before release, they even went so far as to remove the middle finger from the clerk's sprite. However, this new Easter egg was a great deal harder to find. It was apparently hiding behind some innocuous code that didn't raise any suspicions when people were looking through the game's scripts. And since it contains no additional dialogue, and it uses sprites that were already used for legit purposes elsewhere in the game, it's managed to slip under the radar for the better part of 3 decades. That's amazing, isn't it? Now, much like the flipping the bird Easter egg, this Easter egg was also removed from the CD-ROM version of the game. If you try and activate it, you'll simply get a generic no can do message from Gary. But Chris Benschoof has actually been a very thorough lad and checked multiple versions of Space Quest 4 to see which version it appears in, and these include pretty much any versions that the disc version is based on, including the 16-color EGA version and the Amiga version. And not only that, this Easter egg can be traced all the way back to the leaked Space Quest 4 beta. So it's safe to say that this thing has been around pretty much since day one. That is a long ass time for an Easter egg to go unfound. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much to Chris for tipping me off. Again, there's a link to the blog post he wrote in the description of this video. And thank you so much for watching. I'm the Space Quest historian, and I'll see you around the Chrono Stream. Bye.